And here's the lug that I'm going to be using tonight. There's 91 in total. They're still alive. I pumped them yesterday. And some of them are fatter than others, and I shall wrap them up now. Going down to get some bait for tonight's fishing. I'm going to try maybe some sand eel. I've already got some squid and some fresh lug outs, but we'll see what we can get. I may try a Bluey, see what he recommends. It's 8:08 p.m. on the 10th of October 2025. We're at Hastings Pier on the left-hand side at a low tide of 0.8 metres. Not a spring tide, but deep enough. I parked, walked straight to the shoreline so that I could scan to see if there's any cuts, sandbars and troughs. But it was pitch dark and there was hardly any surf and no breaking waves. So it was almost impossible to read. But I picked the darkest strip that I could pick in order to get into a cut to increase my chances. We're going to need our rigs, obviously, our elastic bait and a lead or two. Now for the bigger bait, I'm going to put a 6 ounce on there. What we got today is we got a Bluey, we've got some squid of various sizes, one of them is actually quite big there, and we've got some sand eel, and we've got some lug. That's a 5-foot pulley pennel for Ray, so that's one I'm definitely going to be using. We're on 4/0 hooks with a pulley pennel. This is 5 foot long. This will serve as our Ray rig. This is one for targeting Ray. For Ray tonight we're going to be using a combination of squid and Bluey. Okay, right. We will get this one out in a minute. I'm definitely going to be putting out a Portsmouth rig today as well, 18-inch nuts. Okay, so we'll have that head off and we'll make, I'd say, some pieces about that long. Get rid of that tail. We keep the head for another cast. I'm gonna take the head out and we will cut it, and that'll make it easier for us to get the bits out. And we will make that into a wrap. I'll cut across the top a little bit with the Bluey, so it's going to enable me to open this a little bit. Look at that. Look at that for a wrapped bait. So this is what we're looking at here. It's a Bluey wrapped inside a whole squid. We'll go in. Nice and proud up on there. The hook's standing right out. No matter whether it turns around or not, it's going to be standing out. There we go. That's the first one. This one's really long. We'll be flooding in soon. We are on our Portsmouth rig for this one. Such a versatile rig, this one. So, get all of that out. That would normally go in my bait tray, but it's not going in there because I haven't got it. So I'm going to stack on a few lug on there. I want each cast to be of magnitude. Each cast is to be of the highest potential. None of this, I save this for later of business. It's going to be just quality right from the outset. I shall just simply put a couple of worms on there, or just one worm. Just a little bit more extra scent and a little bit of an attractant or something moving. There we go. I put it like that, and then I put it in again like that. And then this top hook I will just use to push through that lug. Now let's get this clip down. This doesn't have to be cast a terrific distance away. I'm going to be casting at different distances, you see. That will be it for our rigs, as rigs concerned. So I can put this rig box away now. That's one thing that's not going to be needing to come out again. All we need is a couple of weights on that, and we are sorted. This is a really, really soft bait. Very soft. So I'm going to use the lug to give it some strength. Even putting squid around it would do that. Squid would be even better. I'll just pull that little bit off there, so it remains quite streamlined still. And we'll get that in there. That's better. It's not flooding in yet. Just lug and a little bit of squid on this one. Out, in. I fished two rods. I casted rod one. I ran about 170 yards and reeled back in by 10-yard steps. 160, 150 and 140, down to 50. Rod 2, 50 yards max. Step that back to 40, 30, 20 and even 10 yards. Although the 10-yard one was actually a slip of the thumb. There we go. Bait wise, I used fresh lug, pumped yesterday, lug and sandeel cocktail, bluey and squid, and straight lug. Definitely have to give it a little bit more oomph. Now, two rigs were always live out there, while there was two rigs already waiting and hanging on my trace holder, so I didn't waste any time there. Yeah, so that's what we got with that. The winds I didn't check, and I should have done, and I normally do. So I don't think we're doing too bad so far as the combination of bait that we're using today. But as far as catching, it's too early to say. It should be coming in by now. So hopefully we'll see some movement going on, and that's kind of really the time we're likely to get some fish coming in. But at the moment there's just no surf there at all. It's just very, very shallow. Hastings last night was a west-southwesterly 5 to 7 mile per hour, steady offshore push. That wind dragged my long cast sideways past the 20 to 50 yard pocket where the bass usually sit. Close casts, possibly too shallow, even the 40 to 60 yard mark was a blank. So I did try quite a lot in my efforts to catch last night. So now we are getting a bit of a flood from the tide. So it just started to move in. I'm going to clip on the other rig, which has got that cocktail again of Squid and Bluey. Once that really starts pushing in hard. Small surf and it's blank in the middle. That would indicate that we've got a cut through the middle here where it's deeper water, and that's where the fish would be. But when it gets to around about 10 yards in, the surf meets up again. So it's going all the way along. So that would tell me that it's around about 30 yards out only where this deeper water is. So that's where I'm going to be putting my bait right now. It is a really nice juicy bit of bait on that right rod there. Bluey wrapped around by Squid. Now over the breakers haven't broke out, or I've got a fish on. But this is the first time I've casted with this lead. I won't know how it's behaving. But there's certainly some tension on there. Enough tension to be, I'd say, probably a 2.5 pound bass. That's if they're not the breakers that are dragging along the ground. Okay. Right, let's take off one and put the other one on. And see if we can get ourselves a ray. Now we know left rod is our ray rod. So I'm going to whack that out as far as I can on that left rod. Now it's starting to flood. It's truly starting to flood now. Left is our ray rod. The right one is the one I'm going to bring in and put out where I think the bass are going to be. Because now it's really flooding in now. It's actually doing its proper flood. And those really big spring tides, when it starts to turn and flood in, you can feel that onshore breeze coming in. Really powerful onshore breeze. But it's not the case that it's a spring tide at the moment. Right, we're nearly in. We need to move all our gear back before I do the next cast. Let's get this out as quick as we can. Because now we're in that zone for catching. That time zone for catching. And I've got a pretty good idea where that cut is out there. Right. Okay. And it ain't all that far. Just a little flick. Just make sure I have taken it off, yeah. Just a little flick, this one. That's it. Yep. Exactly where I need it. It's exactly where I need it. Really happy with that. Right, I've got to move back because it's so muddy here. Yeah, so we will get that one re-rigged. This is the 5-footer. Nothing's touched that. Do away with that and put something else on there. So we're out of Bluey's. What should we put on there? Let's chuck a sand eel or two on there. Yeah? Chuck a massive sand eel on there. Off with the tail, off with the head, and we'll put that on. Quite a big sand eel. These are really soft baits, these are. Okay, so we can get this bound up. Alright, that is going to have to do. It will last about 20 minutes, that, tops. Trouble when you're filming yourself, you've got multiple trips because you can't carry everything back in one hit. You've got like 3 trips. The beach buggy, my camera, and then my rods. And because it takes a long time to go back and forth, you can't even go back that far. Which is why fishing the high tide is so much more easy than the low. You just stay put where you are. With a high tide fishing, you just stay put. It's 10:02 right now. This is when we need the bite. This is when we need something to happen. It's nothing to take that Bluey at the moment. Our target's bass here, so maximum mags and very little distance. So put maximum mags on. And I just want to give it a little flick out. I don't want to go over my own line, so I'm going to go just slightly to the right. It's about 20 yards out. That's all it is. 20 yards out. 5 lug on there. Nothing else. The Bluey one, it's out a long way now. It is out a long way. And I'm not sure whether this one's the old one or not. Let's have a look. That one hasn't been cast out yet. So I shall put this one on in a moment and put that out. It's only 20 yards in, so if there's a bass, it will have it. The Bluey and the Squid rig, absolutely nothing. But I am hopeful of a bass. Very clear water tonight. Very clear. This Bluey and Squid has been up for a long time. And there's me waiting for that lead to break as I'm pulling it, and it's not making any difference. I'm feeling just a weight on the end, a dead weight. It could be a big bass. Big bass tend to not fight so much, and it's just like a big dead weight pulling in. That's exactly what it feels like right now. But maybe it is something else. This is the surprise of it all. My arm is absolutely killing me pulling this in, because it's such a long way out. It's taking ages to bring in. God, flipping out. And it's getting tougher as I'm getting it closer. God, my arms are burning. Whoa, my arms are burning. What the flipping hell was that then? My arm's dead, I know that. But there's some other line on there. Not sure what that is. That was what I was pulling against. I was dragging something back. And it snapped that part anyway. I actually thought I broke the blank. Oh, a bit disappointing. Nearly at the shingles. When I'm at the shingles, that'll be time for me to pack up and go. Actually starting to feel really exhausted now. It feels about time to go home. If distance casting is really where those fish are, I think this will be the one to test that out, because I'm going to try my best to really hit that out a long way. Well, I can't actually, because the rig's broke. It's a shame. Yeah, I just have to cast it out as it is. That Portsmouth rig's okay. And can try this one. These lug ain't bad. I'm using right now. I mean, look at them. She's pretty decent. 2 Nordic bends on a Portsmouth rig, 18-inch snuds. In the past, I did have 12-inch snuds. That was kind of my go-to. But found out, you know, since recent times that 18 is actually quite a popular number to aim for. So, close in. Hasn't done it for me. Far out hasn't done it for me. So let's go far out again. And I'm not going to whack it out right where I am because clearly there's nothing here. I'll whack it out to my left. Put the mags on 4. Here we go. Okay. That got me some serious distance out. That got me out some real serious distance. That's about 170 yards. Best cast for tonight, that is. They put those mags onto 1 when it was mid-flight. So this is our pulley panel. My back is screaming out to me in pain. So this one was a pulley, 4.0, that's it. It's not my 5-foot jobby. That last cast was best cast of tonight. It was a tournament cast. Bend down into gravity, hard swing out and in. Wait a little bit longer, keep right arm down, turn and then whack it. And that reel screamed. That one went about 3 yards out. Thumb me slipped off. Totally slipped off. By accident. It'd be funny if I caught. Be a lesson learnt, wouldn't it? Absolutely shattered. Don't like to call it early, but I'm going to have to call this one a blank. I'd be lying if I wasn't disappointed because I've put a lot of effort in tonight. It makes it all that more harder when you get a blank. So to sum tonight off, it was a blank, despite me trying a fresh lug, sand eels, squid and bluey in all different combinations with a size 4.0 hooks, 3.0 hooks, and 2 hooks between all the rigs. And I have literally casted all ranges. Literally. All ranges. Some of them by accident, like a minute ago. And what I mean by that is I didn't actually mean to cast like 5 yards out. It was just a slip of the thumb. But either way, if that was to teach me a lesson on overcasting fish, then that would be the one to do it. So let's get all these baits back into here. Lessons? Well, next time it would be obvious for me to check the wind direction. That does make a big difference. Bring some ragworm, maybe some peeler anyway. This session shows you can have everything in place, yet fish with a fish are not there. Blanks aren't failures, they are maps to future progress, as long as you try to learn from something in these sessions. In either case, post yours below. Post some lessons that you've learnt, some things that have helped you realise how to make a better session and turn what looks to be a blank into at least a catch. One fish even. Let me know what your thoughts are.